This video gets released on December 31st, 2015, so yeah, I get to have last say of the year. That's pretty cool when you think about it. Now, a lot of producers take this opportunity to reflect on the last year of gaming, but, at the behest of my Patreon supporters, we're actually going to take a look forward into what I think 2016 is going to bring. Should be fun. Yeah, this episode's going to make me look like an idiot or Nostradamus. We'll see. But I feel the need to say this anyway. This is pure speculation. I can't back up anything with facts and figures. I'm just making educated guesses. So take this as the entertainment that it's meant to be. So I think the obvious thing to start with is the new releases coming up. Let me see here. Yeah, it's all pretty much Revenge of the Sequel this year. Each company is going to try to ride their franchises into the dirt, but they're trying to mix it up. Not really. I mean, Assassin's Creed Chronicles looks like an exact ripoff of Mark of the Ninja. So, first prediction, and this is low-hanging fruit even for me, you're not going to see anything new this year. Most of the hype is going to be reboots, remasters, or repackaging of old games that you've already played and beaten. Alright. Given the last couple of years, that's kind of a gimme shot over here. But in all honesty, when I look at the upcoming releases for 2016, there's really nothing that I'm looking forward to playing. There's a couple racing games I'd like to see, but other than that, no, there's absolutely nothing that's on the schedule that actually makes me go, wow, I really want to play this. Which actually brings me to another kind of a gimme shot here, and that's DLC. Yeah, I'll just predict this. In 2016, there's going to be a game released with mandatory DLC. More than likely, it's going to be on-disc DLC, because it's going to cost $30 or more, and you have to purchase that above and beyond the $80 or so price tag. It's been close to this for years, but I think this is going to be the year that some companies just going to outright do it. My bet is going to be EA or Ubisoft, but that's my bias showing through. I'm also going to predict that a few AAA studios are going to keep a game in beta through all of 2016. H1Z1 and Steam's Greenlight has proven to the industry that gamers will buy unfinished content and do so with the expectation that it'll never be finished. I mean, hell, a game can go early access, players buy into it, and then the game vanishes, nobody really bats an eye anymore. So why not go the rest of the way? Let's just make that the business model. Make a game good enough, sell the promise of what it could be, and then just keep it in that status of beta until you shut the servers down. I mean, there's no real reason to launch a full game, so why even bother? Even a game on disc, you launch then patch, and then charge people for the patches, calling them DLC. When I was a young geek, the ultimate dream job was to be a game tester. All you had to do was go in, play video games all day, find all the bugs and find all the glitches, and then report them, and they'd fix them before launch. Now it seems that they've kind of flipped that when you think about it, because they're charging the gamers for firsties, and then they're going onto Reddit and social media, seeing where all the game-breaking bugs are, and then they just quietly patch it and don't say anything about it. Yeah. Although, since I'm on sort of this little bit of a tear on AAA games, I can almost guarantee you there's not going to be a single good AAA release this year. This is a direct result of the hype game that all AAA studios now play. They spend months, maybe even years, hyping up games and how awesome they're going to be. Then they release them, and the game isn't even close to what they hyped. Colonial Marines, enough said. So as a result, games are going to get ripped apart by online reviewers for failing to live up to the hype. Well, the ones who aren't on the payroll anyway. I noticed that big companies like Rooster Teeth had compensated content from Ubisoft, and several other YouTube LPers also had paid content right around when Assassin's Creed came out in 2015. I mean, they said as much in their video. Either they had got direct compensation or they were wined and dined by Ubisoft to give favorable reviews. So here's what I think is going to happen in 2016. This year, you're going to be able to tell who's on the payroll and who isn't. Just pay attention to the reviews, and any review that doesn't mention anything bad or downplays game-breaking bugs or with a dismissive, oh, it almost never happens, yeah, you're going to kind of be able to tell. Reviewers are probably going to be swinging wild between everything in 2016, and you can kind of guess who's going to be on and who's not going to be on the take. Of course, I can say things like this because I've never had a large game company fly me down to their headquarters, meet the dev team, wave 10K under my nose, and say, why don't you say something nice about our company? And since I keep on making videos like this one, that's never going to be an issue, so there you are. So what is going to be good this year? Indie games. Now let me see, Undertale, Five Nights at Freddy's, Rocket League. I mean, hell, I'd almost call 2015 the year of indie games. Okay, granted, there's so many being put out there now, but just playing the odds, you're going to get some incredible games, but honestly, the indie devs have been doing a better job than AAA at making games, and it's only going to get better. I think this is because indie game devs have this hunger, for lack of a better way to put it. They make games because they like games, not because they have to make a new franchise title launch this year. So they can make a game that just returns to the basics. Make a good game. My only fear is that the market floods. And like I said, a lot of indie game devs are out there, and frankly, some of them are going to see the pay for beta model and they're going to abuse that, or they're just going to abuse the Kickstarter stuff or similar, caveat emptor. That said, indie games are not anomalies anymore. They're outselling a lot of the AAA titles, and they've got fan bases that were only once reserved for those AAA titles. So if somebody says, oh, this is a surprise hit of 2016, don't be very surprised by this, because I think that's what's going to be, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. Oh, speaking of surprises, how about a prediction that's going to surprise a lot of people who've been watching this show? So I did a show earlier in the year talking about esports and made a lot of fanboys angry. So here's my prediction for you. You sitting down? You ready? Esports are going to grow this year, prize money is going to be higher than ever before, and the fan base is going to increase. Okay, so you're probably saying, well, how can Tiger say something like that, considering he made that show Esports Will Fail? Well, simple. They're not going to fail this year. One of the things that people assumed about that show is I was saying that esports are going to fail, immediately, and it doesn't work that way. The ultimate failure won't happen for another 5 to 10 years, and it assumes the powers that be don't move to solve the problems that they have, and right now, I just don't see that happening. Okay, this might be sadoequine necrophilia here, but my track record isn't really that far off for stuff like this.
I don't even care. We were all on Adderall. I don't even give a it was pretty obvious, if you listen to the comms, I don't know, people can hate it or whatever.
Everyone does Adderall at ESA land, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So throwing that out there.
Had this interview been done by any other news outlet, they would have ripped him to shreds on that point. But in pro gaming, it's a joke, and that's the problem. Short-term, stuff like this makes money because kids see the pro being edgy and they buy in. They see the spectacle that is the international and they buy in. They see this implied promise that they could be on that stage someday and they buy in. The problem is that it's all built on emotion and has nothing behind it, and in the long haul, this is a disaster. Eventually, the players bankrolling these games, events, and teams, they're just going to burn out. They're going to become disillusioned. They're just going to plain out rage quit. Then what? But let me hammer a point home. Every year, the prize money gets larger, the spectacle gets larger, but you can only inflate that so much. And eventually, they're going to have a time where they can't outdo last year's spectacle. Or a pro is going to drop dead because of some drug complications, or a major game-fixing scandal is just going to rock one of the major events, and when that happens, that's when the bottom's going to drop out of it. But that's not going to happen this year. But I digress. There's a lot of things I would love to see happen in 2016, but alas, they're not going to. I'd love to see a workable home virtual reality rig hit the market. I'd love to see a destination gaming become a thing. I'd love to see the social warrior agendas of the world not get dumped into gaming, but that's not going to happen. Radical change takes time or force, and if it's by force, it rarely sticks, and if it's by time, then you're not even going to notice it. So I'm going to make probably the least bold prediction as my last one. Nothing's really going to change in 2016. Trolls will still troll, social media e-celebrities are still selfishly complain about everything, games are going to be released and they're going to fail to live up to expectations, we're going to keep on buying them and pre-ordering them, and some really good games are going to, quote, come out of nowhere, unquote. Look, I would love to predict sunshine and rainbows and all that happy, good stuff, but realistically, I know what is going to happen here. We're going to continue to be led by the nose, and we're going to continue to be led by emotions. We're going to pre-order and get into betas, and all we're going to do is bitch about it on social media up until E3, in which we're going to pre-order all of the crap that they're promising is going to be better than sliced bread. Just like we did in 2014, 2013, 2012, 2011. There's an old saying that the future is a lot like the present, only later. And just in case you're wondering, no, it's not a prop. Yes, it does suck, and I'll get into a full explanation of what the heck this is all about at the beginning of the new year. Have a happy new year, everybody. Be safe out there.